Welcome back to another episode of the Toxin Free-ish podcast. As always, I'm your host, Wendy, an environmental toxins attorney turned clean living coach. This week, I'm super pumped because my friend Steven, who also happens to be the owner and founder of Truly Free Home, the non-toxic cleaning company, he's on the podcast and he's answering all the questions, even the hard ones that I had for him. We dug into why he started Truly Free to begin with, how hard it is to make clean, non-toxic cleaning products that actually work, that actually take the stains out of your laundry and actually leave your dishes sparkling clean. And we talked about his new passion project, trulyfree.com. Let's dive in. Hey friend, real quick before we dive into this episode, there's something you need to know. This entire podcast is funded by you. You will never hear paid ads or sponsorships on this podcast. Like, not ever. Why? Because I believe in full transparency. And that means only sharing the things that I actually love myself. When you do hear me talking about something that I love and you use my affiliate links, you get a small discount and I earn a small commission. That helps keep all of my content completely ad-free. And that means that anything I talk about or share is aligned with you and me and not sponsors. So to be clear, no weird promos, no brand deals, no paid ads, just the real stuff that I use, brands I love, and literally what I probably used this morning. So if something that I mention feels like a fit for you, click the links in the show notes. It's a win-win and it helps keep this space truly ours. Ladies, we need to talk about clean perfume. And I don't mean the fake clean perfume. I mean like the real clean, 100% botanical, no toxins, nothing messing with your hormones, and no migraines happening. I know you know how hard that is to find. And when you do find it, you feel like you're just wearing a bunch of essential oils and they don't even last very long anyway. So when I had the opportunity to work on a 100% botanical perfume line that actually smelled like perfume, oh my gosh, literal dream come true. And it's officially here. Wyld Notes Discovery Sets are available right now. Head on over to the link in the show notes and get your discovery set today. Use code Wendy10, you're going to get 10% off. And here's the best part. When you get a discovery set, you're also going to get a $20 coupon. So when you wear all of those scents and you find the one that's your favorite, you can use that $20 coupon code towards your first purchase. And in case you're curious, my two favorites, I'm currently wearing Sweet Decadence layered with Fireside Citrus. It's like sweet and smoky and sexy and sophisticated and completely clean. I cannot wait for you to get your hands on these. And when you get them, hop on over to my DMs and tell me which one is your favorite. So you and I actually talked for the first time, I want to say it was like 6 months ago. And I reached out and I had some questions about your ingredients and your process and your suppliers. And honestly, I really didn't expect to get a phone call. Truly, because a lot of companies, when I reach out to them and I start asking questions, they don't want to talk to me. And I want to say it was a holiday. I don't even remember which holiday it was. It might have been like coming up on Thanksgiving or whatever. But it was like 6 p.m. and you called me on your cell phone. And you were like, "Hi, I'm Steven. I own Truly Free. And I understand you have questions. Is now a good time?" And I was so blown away that you, the owner of the company, called me. Super impressed. Is that just how you do things?
It's how I roll.
Always?
No, I've always done that. Yeah. So I remember when it was just, we started this company. It's not like it's like some private label company, right? We have a museum here in our factory, and I have the original concrete mixer from Harbor Freight that we used to mix soap in. And I used to bring the orders to the post office, like back in the day. And I was customer service. I was the marketer, the salesperson. I was the everything. And one of my favorite things to do was to pick up the phone. So when a member called in for a question, or if somebody like, "I want to cancel my subscription," I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I'm crying over here. Don't leave us. What can we do better? So no, I absolutely love talking to the world, talking to the family. We don't have customers. We don't have we have family members, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And I feel like I wish, and I speak a lot and, mentor CEOs, and I wish more founders and CEOs got connected to their community. It's like, when we ask new people, that join the company, it's like, "Hey, who do you work for?" "Oh, I work for Truly Free." Or maybe I work for, mention the name, the supervisors. No, you don't work for Truly Free, and you work for the end person. You're working for serving that family that needs us. So if I don't embody that, then I can't expect anybody to. So no, it's very normal. I talk to customers all the time. It's not as much as I wish anymore, because now we have like 500,000 of them, and I don't have that much time, unfortunately. But no, I love to talk to people, especially if they have questions about what we do and why we do it, and very passionate about. I walk the talk, so nope, it's very normal.
You do, and I can vouch for that. And I've thrown some hard questions your way, and you are open and transparent and honest and evolving. And I love talking to you because you can tell from somebody the way they talk, the way they communicate, and the way they respond to you, whether they're in what they're doing for purpose, true purpose, or and I'm not talking shit about entrepreneurs in general, people who start businesses and want to make money. Money in the hands of good people does good things in this world. So I'm not saying that, but every time I talk to you, I do know everything you say comes from the heart, and I appreciate that a lot.
Well,
So,
it means a lot coming from a thought leader like you and a mission driven, heart centered, leader like you. It means a lot to me coming from you. I was recently being interviewed on a stage. We're talking about this, like, hey, why do you do this? I'm like, it's not to make money. Like, dude, I started this company on food stamps. Like, we were broke, right? And it was just because I'm driven by this mission to serve the world and, free slaves and do all the crazy things that we do and people live a safer life. And, I feel it's like that's like the reserve tank, like on the car when you're going up, see the light goes on, like you need fuel. There's like another 30 miles that the car, they don't tell you actually have when a light goes on. And I feel like when you're living in your purpose and you're like living your calling, it is that when the light goes on, you're like, it's okay. I have enough fuel to get to the next fill up. So when things get tough, when you're living in your calling and your purpose, it just makes that you're able to endure. And that's the reason why most entrepreneurs and businesses fail, right? They get started and they get run for the wrong reasons. And I'm one of the fortunate guys that tap dance into work every day. I work with some of the most incredible people on the planet, and we know we're leaving this place better than we found it. So makes it all worth it.
I love that. So, why did you start Truly Free? I know your son was your big reason, your big why, right?
Yeah, I mean that was the genesis, right? So my wife and I are going on 20 years married. Our oldest son is 17 now, but when he was an infant, he broke out in this horrific rash. It looked like we dunked him in boiling water, and it was because of store bought the blue goo, right, from the store. And when he was like really sick, I mean, it was like like bloody like rashes. And my wife's a NICU nurse, so when she freaked out, of course, I freaked out even more. So like straight to the pediatrician, to the dermatologist, on the way to the pharmacy. A friend of the family called and asked me what we're using for laundry detergent. I'm like, I'm not here to talk about laundry. Like the baby's sick. He's like, no, like that's possibly why he has this. I'm like, really? I had no idea. And so that was she gave me this like homemade concoction, like fill up the bathtub and put borax and vinegar and da 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 and like do this thing. And we did. And the next day he was fine. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And we're about to give my wife all these prophylactic chemicals like steroids and antibiotics because she was breastfeeding, giving him all this stuff. And it was because of like the store bought blue goo. So I became a full blown eagle conspiracy theorist. I mean, but I'm an entrepreneur. And I got to a point, Wendy, about 13, 14 years ago when I was buying the soap company in Northern Michigan. I didn't know anything about this industry. I'm not a chemist. I'm a restaurateur chef from New York City. But I felt so called to this purpose because of my experience. And I realized that originally I thought like, oh, this company trying to kill us. And they're actually not trying to kill you. They're trying to sell you, right? They're trying to monetize you. And when I saw the lack of legislation in this industry, we've sold millions of products. Like we have shipped millions of things over the years. And nobody's ever knocked on our door to say, hey, what you actually put in your product in the label, is it really there? Like it's completely like the fox has guarding the hen house. And I'm like, well, I can either go about this through advocating in legislation. And I'm like, I am a really crappy politician. I said, or we'll solve it by empowering customers to vote differently with their dollars. So I said, I'm just going to take their market share. And a little funny story, like a couple of years ago, I got approached by a very major, well-known corporation, right, that buys brands like us. And they were introduced by a friend. So I was cordial and we went through a little process and they offered me a number that would have completely changed my life and changed my the trajectory of my grandkids' life. And I haven't met my grandkids yet. And I said, you know what, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't want to waste any more time. I'm having way too much fun. No, thank you. I really appreciate the offer, but I just still tap dancing to work. I'm having too much fun. And they said to me, okay, well, just let us know we can come back for you. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm coming for you. Don't worry about coming back for me. I'm coming for you. And when you stop putting toxic chemicals on children's backs, then maybe I'll leave you alone. But until that point, like, I'm coming to eat your lunch. Respectfully, yours, Steven. So I'm one of the lucky guys. I work with great people. We do great things, and we're building really cool things. Between the two companies, we are the Encyclopedia Britannica, if that's still a thing, textbook of what is a mission-driven company.
I love it. And we're going to talk more about Truly Free Market. But first, I want to kind of like stay here for a little bit and talk about, my audience is really a large group of people who are trying to make better decisions every single day for their family. And they're trying to live a more holistic life. You and I were joking about our biohacking we got on the video, and I like have my glasses and my essential oils going, and you're sitting on your PEMF mat. And I do think there is this movement towards we need to be more in nature and we need to be more holistic in everything that we're doing. And you and I share a similar story. My daughter had eczema. We lived in Italy at the time. It was awful. And the pediatricians wanted to give her steroids and all these things. And I went to an Italian pediatrician who was like, "Oh yeah, just throw away all of your American products and here, go buy these clean European, products." And I half thought he was crazy, but like you in desperation, I was like, "Well, I'll do anything at this point because all these things I've been trying aren't working." And 6 weeks later, she had no eczema, and my migraines that I had suffered for 20 years had disappeared. And I was in the industry. I mean, that was the crazy thing for me is like I was already like in the drinking water toxins world. I was already doing cleanup. I was already working in legislation, and I was like, how did I not think about my laundry detergent? Because people assume, well, this is all regulated. If you're putting something on your body, if you're using something to wash your clothes, like clearly somebody out there is saying this is, okay, or this is not okay. And just like you said, that none of that is true. Like literally none of that is true whatsoever.
There's so much buried in USPTO, United States Patent Trademark Office law. Like, there's so much trade secreting. I mean, honestly, like we go out of our way to educate, our members of what is in our products, what's in the world. And there are, as you know, and I know you speak to a very educated listener base, there are over 12,000 chemicals banned in the EU. Over 12,000. And I think we're finally up to 16. Up till 3 years ago, there was 12.
It was 12, yeah.
I think we're up to 16 now. That's frightening. There's 11,000 some odd chemicals that around the world are like, no, you can't make them. You can't manufacture them. You can't import a product that has that in them. And in the US, it's like, hey, it's all good.
Free for all.
So
Capitalism.
capitalism. And I'm a capitalist, right? Like, I am an unabashed capitalist, but I am not a crony capitalist. And that's what we see today. Right? We're in a crony capitalism world where large mega corporations could buy the legislation so that they can be capitalistic. And that's not cool. I think that's nonsense. And that's why this is the stuff that really fires me up and creating the world a better place and empowering people to vote differently with their dollars, because that's how real change happens. It's not going to, I mean, I realize like we talk about and there's so much, and I'll just say manufactured division amongst us. It's this division between left and right and this and that. It is manufactured division. And it's only there to control the minds of men, right? And I mean men, like mankind, not just men, but mankind. And real change is not going to happen every 2 or 4 years when you go to your local voting precinct and cast a ballot. Real change happens with who we vote with our attention and who we vote with our money. That's how stuff really freaking changes. I joke around about this one a lot. Like, organic spinach is not the same price of its genetically modified distant cousin because a bunch of farmers became philanthropists. It's because enough consumers says, this is what I want. And either big ag was going to lose market share to some granola crunch and hippies, or they were going to find a way to pivot, and they did. And we can talk about all these various industries where people that were naturally minded have changed their buying behavior. And now big companies are having to pivot. Either they're going to have to pivot, or some cases they buy great brands, right, that are doing good things. And some of those brands then get bastardized
Yep.
because it's in the pursuit of making margin. And for us, like, it's hard. I mean, if it wasn't for this, our refillable concept, where we take all of the shipping and packaging and logistical waste out of the supply chain and pass those savings to a customer, we couldn't compete, right? It's only because of this. And I invented refillable cleaning products with a grandma that was my business partner years ago, like in a garage with a concrete mixer, to solve a business problem, right? Because how do you get products in the hands of, well, you can't when you're competing with these mega giant companies. That's the only way that we're able to compete price per load or price per spray with, the big guys, is because we've taken so much cost out of it through refillable products, less logistics, less shipping cost. But other than that, you can't compete. We used to buy products by a bag, right? Now we buy stuff by tractor trailer load, and we've do a lot of volume now, but we're starting, like, you can't compete with these giants. They buy stuff by warehouse and rail car.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, they'll go shop at like a small clean beauty company or clean makeup company, and I work with a lot of them behind the scenes and consult with them on ingredients and those kinds of things. And they say if we can just get to like 10,000 units, right? If we could just grow and get enough market share to where our next order can be double or a little bit bigger, then we can get those pieces at lower prices and we can pass those savings on to our customers. And so I always tell people, the more market share you can give to these companies, the more you're going to change the entire industry, because then their prices can come down and they can start competing with the big guys. But like you say, when you're ordering cargo ships full of this stuff and you've got somebody sitting in their room saying, I want to make this clean makeup or this clean whatever it is, and they want to order like 500. And not only that, they can't even get manufacturers to make something that clean because they have to custom make those ingredients and they're not willing to do it. And so supporting companies that are doing the right thing, and like you said, vote with your dollar every single day by what you bring into your home.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I could share countless war stories. And again, like the call I would get from my controller business partner years ago, like, I don't know how we're going to make payroll this Friday. I don't know how we're going to do this. I'm like, well, God's got a plan. We're going to keep going. Like, and that's, again, that was the reserve tank. But now, we're definitely grown up a little bit since then, which has been quite the journey. But, for if anybody's listening to this and you're a startup and you're an entrepreneur, like, if you're grounded in your purpose, the grind is worth it. The sacrifice is worth it. But if you're thinking about starting something to go change the world and build a product or build a service, know that, like, it's going to be really, really hard, but it's also going to be really worth it.
I love that. It's good advice. Well, let's talk about your products. Let's pivot. Let's talk about your products. I'm just going to get on my little soapbox for a second and say that, I sell a lot of cleaning products, brands. There's some wonderful,
No question.
wonderful brands out there. And I am not somebody who only represents a single brand. I
Yep.
will fight for every brand doing the right thing. That's just who I am. But it's interesting because over the years, as people have really, my audience has grown, people have really started cleaning out their homes. Cleaning products, laundry detergent specifically, is the one thing that people will come back to me and say, yeah, that doesn't work for me. My husband's clothes still stink. My son's stains are still, in the baseball uniform or whatever. Like, the idea of switching to something cleaner, people typically will want something that works comparably or almost comparably, right? They're willing to take a little bit of a hit for performance, usually, if it is something that is clean and safe and non toxic for their family. But laundry detergent, people really.
I'll challenge that, Wendy. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if I agree with you. I
Really?
don't,
Which part? I said a lot of things.
I don't know if I agree with you that people are willing to compromise a little. I think especially today, I mean, wallet share is tighter than ever. And if you have your choice between, yep, I've got some really safe laundry detergent, or I need to replace my kid's wardrobe, that's tough, right? I don't think most people are really willing to compromise stains on their clothes at the pursuit of living a non-toxic life. And that has put us that's why we've always tried to be on the cutting edge of green chemistry. because the industry, because of companies like Truly Free and some other great brands that are out there who I don't even view as competitors. Many of them probably think I'm a competitor to them, and that's cool. And most of them copy what we do, and that's fine, right? But those are not the competitors. The competitors are the guys that are making the toxic blue goo, right?
Yeah.
Those are the competitors, and those are the ones I want to eat their lunch. I don't want to compete at the same trough with all the eco brands. Like, no, I want to empower those entrepreneurs to take market share from the big guys, because the big guys are the ones that are hurting the real people. So that's the mission. And I don't think consumers want to compromise on clean dishes or clean clothes at the pursuit of potentially being low tox or no tox or eco, whatever the label is.
I think you're right. If you're going to take their market share and you want to go eat their lunch, you're right. You got to perform the way they
You got to
perform.
perform.
There are, like my audience, they will choose the holistic, they will choose the cleaner, they will go get some vinegar and add it to their dishwasher, right? They will go the extra mile
Yep.
to be clean. But if you want to go after that 95% people who are buying the blue goo, I agree with you. And whenever anybody comes to me and says, I'm unhappy with how my laundry smells, I'm unhappy with how my laundry's coming out, and I know they're using something that's super, super clean, especially if they have hard water, I always say, switch to Truly Free, because you have the one laundry detergent that really works in hard water. So can we talk about like how you formulated it that way, how difficult that was to make a laundry detergent that actually cleans well and that is non-toxic in hard water?
The two single hardest products to create and manufacture for efficacy in the entire cleaning category. So if you think about, you got the supermarket, there's the laundry aisle, which has everything laundry, and then you go one aisle over and has like everything else. So there's basically two big aisles at the laundry store, or one really long aisle split in half. There's two products categories that are just brutal, and one is laundry and the second is dishwasher, auto dishwasher. And the reason being is the single largest ingredient in laundry is your water. So like I tell people, like our products are actually not cleaning anything. Like you could buy even the blue goo, cleans nothing. It's the water inside of your washing machine or your dishwasher that's all the cleaning. And what you're asking us to do, our job is to alter the water that's inside the washing machine or inside the dishwasher to get the water to do what we want it to do, so that it does and gets the clothes clean, and whatever the end result we're trying to get to. And when you get to washing machines, that adds a layer of complexity. High efficiency washers specifically don't add a lot of water, right? From an environmental standpoint, that's wonderful. From a cleaning standpoint, it's freaking brutal, right? Because, you want to get the clothes wet. And here's like a home hack. If you're seeing, like, if you're having a hard time getting stains out of your clothes, I don't care what you're using, put less clothes in your washing machine, right? That's number one. Like, don't overload the washer, especially if you have a high efficiency washer, which like 80% of the world, like US has HE washers now. Like these clothes have to get wet. So that's the one thing. So that's why it's so hard. So we've, again, been on the cutting edge of green chemistry for a lot of years, looking at plant-based or naturally derived chelators to get hard water deposits out of clothes. It's not just removing stains, but you got to keep the stains and all that chemistry, because they don't disappear. Right? When you're washing clothes, the stains don't disappear. They're just in water. And we have to get them out of the water and down the drain before they redeposit onto clothes. So there's so much science that goes into this. And again, I am a chef from New York City. Like I'm a cook. Like 15 years ago, when I bought this soap company in Northern Michigan, I knew a little less than nothing about laundry. I only knew to buy the big bright bottle that grandma always bought. But there's so much that goes into it. So, I mean, we're talking over a decade, Wendy, of innovation and testing. And now we've just recruited it. We're building a incredible innovations team. And I'm actually recruiting innovators and chemists from the toxic industry. Like
Good. Steal them all.
we're literally going, and they're like, because a lot of them, like, we just hired an amazing director of innovation, and she's worked on some, I mean, I can't mention the brand, but some of the biggest brands in the personal care and cleaning industry. And she's like, I just couldn't do this anymore. Like, I'm like, great. But just so you know, I'm going to make fun of you for the next 10 years. Like, And if you're good with that, we're good. So yeah, and that's the challenge, right? The challenge is a lot of startups don't have the type of resources that we do now, but we always didn't. And it was just a lot of testing, a lot of grit, working with suppliers, putting their feet to the fire on transparency, end-to-end transparency. Like, okay, so you're a distributor, got it. Oh, that, and then going all the way back to like source of origin, which is so exhausting and so hard. But we've been fortunate to have great partners, great suppliers, great partners that know how crazy I am and just knew that I was just going to be the biggest pain in the butt that they were going to work with, but it would be worth it. And now we've got great partners.
I
So,
love that. And you are, every time I talk to you, you're always innovating. You're always working on the formula. You're always tweaking. Let's talk about your signature scent laundry detergent,
yep.
because this topic makes circles and circles and always comes around. And so you have two offerings that you have. You have your unscented version,
Mhm.
and then you have your signature scent. And
Yep.
because you're a refillable company, which I also, from an environmental perspective, love, and I know it's a cost savings and it's a shipping savings and a logistic savings, but as an environmental attorney, it's also savings to
Sure.
our environment.
We've saved
Uh,
18 million pieces of plastic from ever being made.
it's incredible. I love it. It's
Yep.
incredible. So I get asked a ton. Your signature scent, it is very strong. When it comes out of the packet, it is very strong. And then you add
Concentrated.
the water to the
Yep.
right, and you bring the water up, and then you run it through the wash, and then you run it through the dryer. When the dryers come out on the other side, it has like a little bit of a scent, right? Because people are like, I want my laundry to smell good because they think pine forests are like what clean smells like. And so you do use what I call nature identical synthetic oils
We
in
do.
that laundry detergent. And that's because that's the only way for it to survive. You and I have had this conversation, but can you kind of talk about your thought process behind that? Because everything else that you have in Truly Free is all essential oils or anything like that. What made you use those nature identical synthetics for the scent of the laundry detergent?
It's because of the dang water that we talked about in the
Yeah.
washing machine, right? That's that thing called water. So I'll tell you. So when we first started the company, we only had essential oils, only pure to the end. And I put my word, no, we're only gonna have essential oils, pure to the end. I don't care if anybody wants it. Until people didn't want it, and people would call and cancel. Remember, I used to like we started this conversation around phone call. I was the guy on the phone, right? Like I would take the customer service calls. And people say, I'm canceling. Well, why? Well, my clothes aren't clean. Okay. What's not clean in your clothes? They're just not clean. Got it. Are there specific stains that we're not getting out that maybe we could try and figure out how to get out? Is it grass stains? Is it no, the stains are getting out. Okay. But you see your clothes are not clean. What is it? Why are the clothes not clean? She goes, and it would literally distill down to one thing. My clothes don't smell like anything.
The scent. Yep.
And at the time, I had a business partner, and she was like, "We need to go like plant-based fragrance oils, nature identical, synthetic. We have to go that route." No. I said, "So this is what I'm gonna do." I left the office one day. I'm on a 2-day experiment. I went to Bed Bath and Beyond when they were still open, and I grabbed 2 brand new Egyptian cotton white hand towels. And I came out of the parking lot and I wiped one of them on the side of my car. So it wasn't like filthy, but it had like visible like black and gray stains on the towel, brand new. And I went 2 doors down to Meijer, large supermarket in northern Michigan, and I grabbed 2 of the leaning fabric softener, one fabric softener, one detergent, well known, same company makes them, the biggest, and I put them in a spray bottle, and I just went and I sprayed the dirty rag. And I went to the mall right down the street here in Traverse City, and I met with hundreds of people. And I had a lab coat on. I did. I nerded out. I had a
I
lab.
would have loved to have seen this.
I wish I took videos of this stuff, right? Like thinking about content creation. This is 14 years ago. And so I took and I said, please tell me we're doing a test, A or B, which one do you think is cleaner? And 74% of the people that I met at the mall chose the dirty rag.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my, you know what? I'm like, fair. This is not my people, right? These are not my people. So I went over to the local co-op. It's called Oriana here in northern Michigan. Wonderful. It's like our everyday grocery store, co-op, local, amazing store. Shopped every day for years. I'm like, these are my people, right? They drive. The parking lot is full of Subarus. The granola aisle's huge. Like, these are my people. And 5 out of 10 of my people chose the dirty rag. And that's when I said, I can't win. I can't win because, a large company did a study many years ago in the 70s. And what do women want? Like the buyer, what does a woman want in clothes? She wants whiter whites and brighter brights. And if we think about the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s, that was the marketing message, right? It was the towels floating or the t-shirts floating in the wind. Theirs versus ours. We have brighter brights and whiter whites. And that was the laundry message. But then in the late 2008, 7, 8, they said, well, we're not going to do this focus group. I hired a bunch of psychologists and and they said, does that still true? Does she really want whiter whites and brighter whites? But ask her after asking more questions, like I did on the customer service calls, she really didn't care about brighter brights and whiter whites. That's all she could articulate. But what she really wanted was fragrance. And that's when the entire industry pivoted because it was always about fragrance. It always was. They just didn't know that's what they did. That's what she wanted. And that's why we have all these scent beads and all these crazy freaking things is because it's about the sensory experience. It's not only about getting the clothes clean. They have to smell. So we pivoted. You can't get essential oil. So you could take a bottle of lavender essential oil, $80. Dump the whole dang thing inside the washing machine. It comes out, smells like nothing.
Yep.
So that's why we did it, right? And we've always been on the cutting edge of even plant-based fragrance chemistry. And we're still pushing the envelope because there's been so much innovation in the industry because of crazy cats like us that many fragrance houses and raw material manufacturers are making safer alternatives because brands like Truly Free and others are doing good and they're creating market share. And we're constantly updating and taking stuff out and upgrading it for better ecotoxicity profiles and efficacy. And like, we're never motivated by margin, right? We're just not. Like, if we could pick up margin of product, that's cool, but it has to have a better profile and work better than it did before. That's the standard. And that's why we just don't put essential oils. And the people that I don't want my clothes smelling anything, great, neither do I.
Yeah, you have an unscented
They have
version.
unscented
Have
for that
at it.
reason. Have
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah,
Have
I
at it.
love it.
Dump a bottle of lavender oil in the laundry machine if you want.
You're really right, though, about the green chemistry. I just worked with the company Wyld Notes to release a 100% botanical perfume fragrance, and it lasts six hours. Some people are texting me saying, I woke up the next morning and I can still smell it. It's 100% botanical. There is nothing
Wow.
in it. I worked with them. It's the green chemistry. And, kind of similar to you, we stole someone from the big fragrance industry and said, here's our standards. Can you do it or not? And they jumped at it was a challenge for them. They were like, I'm all in, let's do this, right? Because we were using regenerative, organic essential oils. It turned out amazing. But 10 years ago, that wouldn't happen. 10 years ago, the knowledge and the green chemistry and the formula, like it wouldn't have happened. And so, things really are changing for the better. Now, I will say, can we talk about your dryer, Angel? Because that is essential oils. And
Yeah.
you throw it in your dryer, and my freaking clothes smell amazing. How does that work?
It's my favorite product. It is unequivocally the favorite thing we've ever created. So yeah, it's a dryer angel. It's a hand sewn product. And there's a refillable sachet, corn cob media, the same type of media that they use when they like sandblast like a log cabin. It's corn husks. And we impregnate those, steep that in a blend of essential oils that we came up with. Smells amazing. And you throw the dryer angel inside the dryer, fluff up the clothes real nice, smell, that's like a wool dryer ball, reduces static, but leaves a really awesome smell that does stick for more than 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, I love it.
And yeah, I love that. But it's not my favorite product for that reason. It's because of how we make it. So we started off years ago with a ministry out of Jamaica called Caribbean Christian Centers for the Deaf. And we have 12 full-time women in Jamaica that hand sew dryer angels. And years ago, like especially the beginning of COVID, when we really like took off, they couldn't keep up with our growth. So that one product has rescued hundreds of women from slavery. We help empower. We get women out of bondage. They get rehabilitated. They get healed. Taught a new identity. And then many get sustainable jobs working in sew shops around the world that we fund, and a lot of underground stuff where we're literally like buying women out of slavery. So yeah, it's a favorite product of mine for that reason. It's such a cool story. We've liberated so many people out of bondage, and that's why it's my favorite product.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. My audience is really going to dig that too. So I know they're going to see your big heart. And whenever everybody asks me about you, they're like, "You what about this product or this ingredient?" And I said, "You know what? If you ever talk to him, he will tell you whatever you want to know. He will tell you what like he'll talk about anything, but what you're just going to see is just his big heart for his mission of what he does, which is something I value a lot." I want to go to my favorite topic, which is you just built the Truly Free market. So can you share about what that is and why you built it?
Sure. So trulyfreehome.com, it's my baby, right? It's been an amazing journey. And like I said, I when I could have sold and generated an incredible amount of wealth for my family, I said, no, I'm not, I'm coming for you. Don't worry about coming for me. And along this journey, it's hard, right? Building a small business and a brand in today's day and age is just flipping hard. It's so hard to build a relationship with the end customer. It's so hard to scale and grow. The cards are so unequivocally stacked against small businesses. And then so you look at the complicated landscape of building a business. You look at the very, how hard it is for wallet share today. People are being forced to compromise their values for just things. I mean, like if you have your choice between non-toxic this or vacation and groceries, like you're going to choose groceries as you should. And then, becoming friends with so many thought leaders like you and the last few years have been a little spicy for thought leaders that are challenging the paradigm. There was this thing called free speech back in the day. It was a great idea. Maybe there's some semblance of that being restored today in our country. We'll find out. So I just looked at this very complicated landscape and I just asked a crazy question. What if there was a place where great mission driven brands can connect with customers, with end consumers in a new way and connect them with thought leaders and creators, and where everybody wins, right? Where these big monster tech companies don't steal the data of the customer and steal the data of the small business and resell it to a higher bidder, many times a foreign hack. And that was like the first question. That was 4.5 years ago. So we've just invested 4.5 years building the world's first fully decentralized social commerce platform. It's called trulyfree.com. It is a free market. It is a free speech social platform. It is a marketplace full of great brands. We created our own digital currency where when people join, they get free money put in their wallet. In every millisecond that somebody buys something around the world, more money gets put in their wallet via our digital currency called talents. It is commerce and communication reinvented. And Truly Free Home, like I said, is my baby. But I feel like trulyfree.com is my calling. And I feel like it's why God put me here, is to help people buy, sell, and exchange ideas in a new way. And it's been an incredible journey. And we just launched it in April, like right now. Like we're just turning this thing on after years and years of building software. And it's going incredible. I mean, there are hundreds of brands that are signing up, that have already signed up or signing up, great products from all over the world, thought leaders like you. It's just been it's very humbling, right? As a genetically unemployable entrepreneur, to start off, from idea to, and now seeing it manifest, it's very surreal. So yeah, so that's Truly Free. It is a new place to buy, sell, and exchange ideas. And if we get this right, if enough people rally around this and start voting differently with their dollars at scale, we can change industries. This isn't just about cleaning products anymore. Cleaning products are important, very passionate about it, but it's more than that. It's about changing things. We're all sitting on devices. Many of you are on a smartphone right now. And we can all be saying, oh, we're mission driven people and we live these low impact lives and we're mission driven folks. But the devices that we're on right now probably most likely contributed to a child slave in the Congo at mining cobalt and lithium so that we can have a battery. That's not cool. But what if, and there are emerging small businesses and companies that are trying to combat this with sustainably, like ethically sourced battery manufacturing. Well, if we can get enough of those people buying a different phone, which is a crazy idea, or different batteries, then what's going to happen? These big companies that are buying dirt cheap cobalt from through child slavery are going to have to pivot, or they're going to have to start treating stop, like they're going to have to change their ways, or we're going to put them out of business. This is just like one, again, I'm zeroing on a one microcosm, but it's like, this is the world that we're living in. And that's what Truly Free represents now. It's more than just sustainable and non-toxic refillable cleaning products. We represent a way of life and a way for free commerce to happen in a real way. And we're just turning this baby on. It's going to be an incredible journey.
Are you trying to steal all the Amazon shoppers? I was, as I was thinking about and I was skimming through the shop, I thought to myself, I work with a lot of companies who are on Amazon because this is quotes that they tell me we have no choice. And, Amazon has policies where if people are selling, your products illegally, the only way for you to do anything about it is if you first have a presence on Instagram or on Amazon. That's a requirement. You have to have a presence. You have to sell the products that you're complaining to them that are being sold illegally on their platform. And so they force companies to come into their platform in order to police up contraband, fake, fraud, illegal, whatever, people who are taking things and selling them illegally, even if they're not completely fraudulent. And so there is this market social / construct that's happening over on Amazon where companies can't compete. They can't. And I'll be totally honest, you said people are going to put groceries on their table. I just did 6 interviews with students of mine that take my Toxin Free in 3 course. And the one thing that I say, what is the biggest challenge? And they say, if I have to go buy things from each individual company, right? It's not all in one place. I have to pay shipping for each single one of those. Like that adds up. By the time I've bought my cleaning products from Truly Free and my makeup from With Simplicity and my this from over here and my essential oils over here and whatever, like now I've paid over $120 for shipping from 6 different companies. And so Amazon, that centralization of shipping, people are like, I need to buy groceries.
It adds up. And I can empathize with that. And the cool part is that even what we've done in a decentralized way, we can create that convenience and that end-to-end customer value in a way that's never been done before. We have multiple patents filed, many of which we're not going to file because I believe a lot of the ideas that were downloaded to me, I want to be open source and I want the world to copy me. And that's okay, right? And I think what's unique about, listen, Amazon is a necessary place. Truly Free Home is on Amazon. Why? Well, because as we've scaled so much, we found that first in an e-commerce world, over 50%, over 1 out of 2 e-commerce searches originate at Amazon. If somebody's looking for something, 1 out of 2 people start their shopping experience by searching Amazon. Amazon is not a marketplace, it's a search engine, right? It is a technology company. So when we found that so many brands and real competitors, not the good brands, but the dangerous brands, were buying our keywords and getting people that were looking for us to buy there, I said, gee, we have to be there. So we went on Amazon purely out of a defensive play. It was pure out of defense. Obviously, that channel has grown a lot and is very successful for us. But for brands that are really like Amazon first, it's tough, right? It's really tough. So we make it really easy. So if anybody here is listening and you have a brand, a small business, head over to trulyfree.com. Let us know that Wendy sent you over. We'll give you the VIP treatment. But this is a very, very unique place to build a business and a brand. But it's more about building a relationship with the customer. Because now through Truly Free Social and free chat, the customer can actually consume content, engage with that brand, directly message them, communicate, and all of that data is fully end-to-end encrypted. So you don't have to work, like, we're not going to send your email address and your phone number to all these companies. Like, you can communicate and your data is held sovereign, and we don't sell it to anybody. Like, your data stays sovereign within our decentralized ecosystem. And these are all fancy big words, but we've reinvented commerce, right? So that people can connect in a new way and vote differently with their dollars.
I love that. So I have links to Truly Free Home for people who want to go check it out. And my audience knows how much I love your product. So I've got links and discount codes always. Stephen, will you come back sometime?
Oh, I'd love to. Love to hang out for sure.
I'd love to get an update on how.
How about this? Why don't you next time come to Northern Michigan, take a look at come to our factory here, take a look, and we'll go in my podcast studio and we'll lay it down here.
Oh my God, I love that. We're going to do it.
Okay, summertime in Northern Michigan's coming. It's the perfect time to come to Northern Michigan.
I'm there. You don't have to sell me.
Game on.
We're going to do it. All right, Stephen. Thanks so much for being here.
Appreciate it.